John, we're going to break here in a few minutes. I appreciate you coming on short notice. Your article from nomorefakenews.com is up on Infowars.com. Is it Ebola or is it psychological warfare? Was the question that you posed, compadre. And so I wanted to get your take. Give us your preface first. We'll come back and detail it.
Okay, Alex. Basically, we got about 800 cases, 500 confirmed deaths, supposedly from Ebola. The same organization that's generating those statistics, the World Health Organization, will tell you that every year in the world, between 3 and 5 million people die from regular seasonal flu. Cases of regular seasonal flu, and between 250,000 and 500,000 deaths every year from regular old ordinary flu. That's not one time, that's every single year. Do they call that an epidemic, a pandemic, an outbreak, anything? No, they don't call it anything. The press doesn't say anything. Nothing happens. And yet, when they're reporting 800 cases, 500 deaths, all of a sudden it's going to destroy the whole world. Is it a psychological operation? You bet.
Well, I tend to agree with you, but usually they hype it up when there's 10 deaths, 500 deaths, 800 cases. They're now saying there could be as many as 30,000 people that have been exposed or infected. That's in British papers. But I agree. Overall, it has a psyop look to it because I know for a fact that Ebola, these monkey viruses, were basically toyed with in labs in the 60s. That's been confirmed that there's links to bioweapons. Investigative journalist John Rappaport's our guest. Again, I'm your host, Alex Jones. John, I have a headline here out of the Mirror, and granted, the Mirror is a, quote, tabloid, but not like the Inquirer or News of the World. I see more credible articles in it a lot of times than I see in what you'd call mainstream British news. But Nigeria's special advisor on public health, Dr. Yawidi Adeshanaya, said we're actually looking at contacting over 30,000 people that potentially could have been exposed or gotten it. Now, is that hype to get more funding to the country? Or should we be really concerned? Because Germany's reportedly taking patients into the country. I think that's very reckless. And then there's the background reason I'm concerned, John, is that there is a history of this being connected to bioweapons research. It's not conclusive like polio or conclusive like HIV, but the studies were there, just like the CIA studied weaponized cancer.
Okay, so let's thing in the UK. This is what it's really all about. The Cobra group, which is this elite sort of cabinet group, met because one guy that is claimed to have died from Ebola, named Patrick Sawyer, flew to a few airports, okay? So now they're saying, all of a sudden, well, he might have been in contact with people who were in contact with people, et cetera, up to 30,000. Now we have to actually try to track down 30,000 people and see what's happening with them. This is all fear-mongering, scare tactics, shut down the country, restrict travel, impose martial law, emergencies, all of this kind of thing. Because, as I said in the last segment, if you look at the World Health Organization stats on deaths from regular, ordinary flu every year in the world, it's between 250,000 and 500. Contact all their contacts. You want to contact maybe, I don't know, 500 million people around the world because they might have come in contact with somebody who died from regular flu. This whole thing is upside down and inside out. And we've seen this before with swine flu, which was a dud, West Nile, which was a dud, bird flu, which was a dud, SARS, which was a dud. They were all promoted as, this is it, folks. This is the one. This is going to kill everybody. And then all of a sudden it petered out. And in fact, the Centers for Disease Control in the summer of 2009 stopped counting swine flu cases in America because they knew that most of the people who were getting tested in hospitals didn't have any kind of flu whatsoever. And this story was exposed by CBS News' Sharyl Attkisson. You want to know one of the reasons she was really fired? Because she exposed this huge con by the CDC. And they shut her down for it. And the CDC went double down and say, we think there's probably 10 million cases of swine flu in America, which was completely insane, no basis in fact whatsoever. So until we see some more information on this, to say that supposedly 800 cases in the world of Ebola and 400 to 500 deaths is going to, destroy the world, or we should declare it a pandemic. You have to look at these other factors here, and people aren't doing it. So I see a tremendous amount of fear mongering here.
Well, I agree with you, and certainly they were caught red-handed. Even the European Commission admitted it. Hyping the swine flu was really a flu simulant synthetic virus they designed that actually weakened your immune system 50% to the real flu. Even medical doctors admit 30,000 people don't die in the U.S. a year from flu. People that have kidney failure, organ failure, that are 85 years old or 2 years old, who have HIV, who are already compromised, then die in the hospital, and they just call it flu. Or when some airborne bacteria kills you in the hospital, they just call it flu. The truth is, flu is a giant hype. So I see the parallel, and I sure hope you're right about this Ebola situation. I just know people like Dr. Pianka, who's a top globalist involved in the eugenics movement. He licks his lips and says, soon the airborne Ebola will be released. And so there are a lot of creepy insiders licking their lips concerning Ebola.
Yeah, no question about it. And you're absolutely right about the flu. You see, one thing that most people don't understand is you got to make a test, a diagnostic test, to really diagnose anybody with anything. And these diets can be faked, they can be slanted. Some of them are inherently unreliable.
All right, John. Well, even though our Skype connection to you is breaking up, you've done a great job. We're going to get our Skype fixed on our end and get you back on for a full hour soon. Maybe we should set him up for Sunday if he wants to do it. That's a good idea to have John on for an hour, but maybe phone since our Skype doesn't work anymore. I'm told it's on our end. NoMoreFakeNews.com. Thank you so much, John Rappaport. This is Alex Jones for InfoWarsLife.com. The latest in preparedness is now here. An electrically stabilized colloidal silver solution that can be added to both your home cabinet and preparedness pack alike. Concentrated to 30 parts per million in what has been dubbed the survival silver solution. The new InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver is the answer for you and your family. And it's entirely free of toxic artificial additives that are loaded into many products. The InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Silver is so powerful that it is concentrated into a 2-ounce bottle and is not recommended for extended continual use. This is not a low-grade formula. We are working with one of the top laboratory manufacturers in the United States to bring you the best form of colloidal silver using electrical processes within a base of deionized water for your preparedness storage or your home kitchen. Purchase your bottle of InfoWarsLife.com Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver today and find other amazing supplements at InfoWarsLife.com.